Welcome back. Former President Trump leading President Biden by 2 points nationally. That's 41% to 39%, according to a new Reuters Ipsos poll. The remaining 20% are undecided, leaning third party, or they might not vote at all, they say. A recent Fox News poll shows black voters beginning to leave Biden. Support for Biden is down almost 20 points in the black community. That's from 2020. Trump, meanwhile, is up with that voting bloc by 15 points. Meanwhile, Trump met with congressional Republicans yesterday in a pair of closed-door discussions. Here's what President Trump said after the meeting.
This was a great meeting. There's tremendous unity in the Republican Party. A lot of very smart people in this room and a lot of people that love our country, but they want this country to be great again, and we're going to make it great again. And so I just want to thank the Republican Senate.
Joining me now is South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. He is the ranking member of the Senate Banking Committee and a member of the Senate Finance, Foreign Relations, and Small Business Committees. Senator, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Big meeting yesterday in Washington. You were there. What can you tell us about the meeting, Senator?
Well, first, happy birthday to President Trump. Today is his birthday. Yesterday, President Trump talked about the importance of unifying the party. It really is. Yeah, we got to be excited about that. He's about 40 years younger than Joe Biden, it seems, when you're in the room with him. But I'll say, Maria, without any question, President Trump talked about unifying the party. He talked about the importance of us having one voice November the 5th and beyond. He talked about the importance of us working for the working class American people. It was the best I've seen him talking about the issue of unifying our party so that the only thing we're talking about, the American people, working class Americans cannot survive 4 more years of Joe Biden. Working class Americans can't survive 4 more years of an open border, a decimated economy. We need 4 more years of President Donald Trump. We're on our way to get there. The day of reckoning, November the 5th. Can't wait for it.
So, Senator, early voting begins in September, right? Is President Trump encouraging people to go out and vote early now?
He is. You know, one of the things he said yesterday was that in North Carolina, early voting starts in September. So this race is not simply about November the 5th, though that is our day of reckoning. He understands that we must use every single weapon in the arsenal. Early voting, mail-in voting. We have to make sure that we saturate this process with Republicans, independent-minded folks voting for Trump, and conservative Democrats who are tired of a 2-tiered justice system coming to our party. President Trump will see his day of victory, but that day of victory actually starts in September.
Yeah, that's I wanted to point that out because I know recently he seems to be changing his tune in terms of early voting. First, he wanted everybody to come out on Election Day. But I see now he's telling supporters, please go vote early. The former president told Fox reporter Aisha Hasni about his possible vice presidential pick yesterday. Watch this.
Was your pick for VP in that room with you?
Probably, yeah. Probably. I don't want to go, but probably. I think we'll probably announce it during the convention, sometime during the convention. So, but there were some good people in there. We have some very good people.
Do you know who your VP is?
I have sort of a pretty good idea. Look, we have some really talented people.
You know, Senator, the New York Post is out with a piece this morning. Inside Trump's Veep stakes, top contender falls down shortlist, not a standout or a game changer. They write, is South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, long seen as the odds-on favorite to be Donald Trump's running mate this year, seems to be slipping in the VP race. It's widely seen by people close to the presumptive Republican nominee as extremely unlikely that he'll be chosen. Senator, what do you think? Are you still in the race for this, for vice president?
Well, I'll simply say the truth, which is it's not about the who. I've said this entire process. I'll continue to say it today. It's about the what. It's about closing our southern border, a 10 million illegal immigrant invasion, the largest in the history of the country. It actually matters to our voters. The economy decimated under Joe Biden, fantastic under Donald Trump. Crime in our streets, unbelievable to see the effort to defund our police while crime rages. Donald Trump wants to refund, respect, and bring back dignity to law enforcement. I'm going to focus on the what, not the who. That's the way we get 4 more years of Donald Trump.
Well, look at all of these opinion pieces. Trump's endorsements in the Wall Street Journal, Trump's endorsement role. Even after the conviction, Senator, all this money came flooding in. He raised like $300 million in a week period after the conviction. And even the black community. Do you have any insight there? Do you think that the black community right now is actually waking up to the idea that maybe Trump will be better for their lives over Biden? What's happening there?
Well, the fact that the ability to contrast the two candidates so close in office is really helping Donald Trump. Jobs and justice. African Americans saw greater wage gains under Donald Trump than they've seen under Joe Biden. Unemployment has gone up under Joe Biden, and it went down under Donald Trump. On the justice issue, many African Americans are simply sick and tired of being sick and tired of a two-tiered justice system. But when they watch it used, weaponized against a former president of the United States, they know there's no chance it will work out better for them. So supporting the candidate that will purge the Department of Justice of the political nature of it, supporting the candidate where their wages grew faster at the bottom than at the top, supporting the candidate that closes the border. This border crisis devastates poor communities first. That candidate is Donald Trump. That makes this decision an easier decision than it's been in 4 decades.
And do you think that the black voter knows that? There's a piece in the Journal about a week ago, how black voters become swing voters, saying as the presidential election approaches, low-income blacks are waking up and realizing that their allegiance to the Democrat Party is fatal to their future. Do you see it that way?
Absolutely. Well, it's been that way for about 30 years. What we're seeing today is the contrast, number one. Number two, black voters know it instinctively, but now they're measuring it in the loss of their paycheck, spending power down $1,000 a month. That's what it costs more. We're seeing it in the neighborhoods where crime is devastating and ravishing the poorest communities. We're seeing it with the border where they're closing black schools, minority schools in New York City to house illegal immigrants. We're seeing it in wages, in crime, and devastation. But what Donald Trump offers is a better way forward. We were better off under Trump, but that's not a black agenda. That's an American agenda. And what we're seeing today is a working class coalition that is colorblind. It includes blacks and Hispanics and Asians and whites. It includes Native Americans, men and women, old and young, because working class people had more money, safer communities, and a southern border that wasn't a national security crisis.
Yeah, and you mentioned the border, Biden's border executive order is in place and doesn't seem to be doing anything, Senator. It's been a little over a week since the president signed that executive order on the border. It's supposed to shut down crossings after they hit a daily average of 2,500. FBI Director Christopher Wray recently warned of a heightened terrorist threat in America as DHS officials sound the alarm on the challenges that there are vetting dangerous border crossers. I know you and your colleagues recently introduced a resolution to strike down Biden's border executive order because you say it endangers unaccompanied migrant children. And it's amazing to me that he's got all these carve-outs. One of the carve-outs is unaccompanied children. Isn't that the very group that the drug cartels are exploiting, Senator?
Absolutely. They are unsafe. Their lives are insecure. Their future is uncertain because Joe Biden has a big sign out there that says, grab an unaccompanied child. That is figuratively speaking, of course. But the fact is that we're seeing the greatest rise because his executive order has more holes than a donut. And the bottom line is simply this. We need 4 years of Donald Trump securing our border like it was when he was president. But the one thing we know about this single executive order from Joe Biden, it can't replace 90 executive orders in his first 100 days making our border unsecure. It can't make up for the 70,000 Americans who've lost their lives to fentanyl. It doesn't make up for the 10 million illegal immigrants or the 100,000 plus Chinese nationals that have crossed our southern border. It certainly does very little, nothing for the sleeper cells that are already in America because Joe Biden left the back door wide open.
Wow. That is just chilling, Senator. Really, really chilling and a stunning list that you just laid out. Senator, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Maria. Have a great day.
All right. We will see you soon. Happy Father's Day, Senator Tim Scott.